I'm Herm Gailey here with Bunny. She's an 8-month-old quarter horse filly. We've been using in our pre-start series, which show a number of basic, let's say, life skills for young horses that we're building into these things at an early stage. Don't think that this won't help your older horse. If your older horse isn't bulletproof on all of these things, it's a great time to revisit them and patch things up and make things better. So this will help any horse, any age. I just tend to think if I've got them and they're young, let's get some of these skills on them early. Today, we're going to work with trailer loading. I think everybody who's ever posted a YouTube video has posted a trailer loading video. There's a lot of them to watch. This is my process. I think it's going to differ a little from some folks, but let me kind of describe it to you. What I have done before with her is simply to get her to where she will walk up to the tailgate and eat off it. What I want to do next is to sort of work her around and get her stepping on the gate and up onto the trailer itself. I've probably spent a total of 10 minutes. I just didn't want to go through that initial, what's this all about with her. Wanted her at least know that it was a trailer, it was open, and that she could approach it and a good thing was going to happen. I do use feed to sort of facilitate things and kind of motivate them a little bit. Well, excuse me, that was not intentional. I bumped you. Time for you to forgive me. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to let her come up here, and she's already comfortable, almost putting a foot on the ramp. I just wanted to show you that. And we'll move this, and then I'll begin the process of getting her motivated to go on the trailer. What are the tools and the skills that should be in place before you do this? Because it's important. I like to use one of these roughly 5-foot stockyard type whips. You can buy them at any feed store or Tractor Supply. They're cheap. They're shorter than a lunge whip, longer than a dressage whip. You can reach back and tap them on the hip if you need to. So I want to have this tool. I want to have a halter. It could be a web halter. That would be fine. More important is you want to have a rope that's at least about 14 feet long, because you want to be able to give her a little bit of distance. And this particular rope is 14 feet long and hopelessly tangled. So let's visit something else that's important. She needs to know that she leads well and that if I tap her on the hip, she'll go forward. Because at some point, I may need to encourage her to go onto the trailer. So that needs to be in place. The second thing that needs to be in place is she needs to be able to drive around you, because as you'll see, that's a part of my process. The other thing I like to be able to do is to drive them out off to the side a bit so that they don't just go in a circle. So if I wanted to drive her toward the trailer like that, I could. That will help you if you want to load her without leading her on. Now, the other good question would be, and she's very responsive to that stick. It's not like I whipped on her with it, but she's pretty sensitive. Not really scared, but she's just very aware. Why are we doing this now at this age? Well, you never know when you're going to have to load a horse. And a few years ago, we had a young horse needed to go to the vet clinic for emergency treatment, and I was real glad that he already knew how to load. If we had been teaching him to load at the same time, he was in pain and we had a must-do, get on the trailer situation and a stressful ride, it would not have gone well. Any horse should be trained to get on the trailer before you choose to go somewhere. Because here's what happens. You take your horse to a trail ride. You decide, yeah, there's a trail ride on Sunday. let's hook up and go. I haven't loaded him, or I don't even have a trailer. I'm going to catch a ride. He'll probably load. He got to my house on a trailer 3 years ago. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. Either the horse won't load first, or you'll get him away from home and he'll realize that the process wasn't real pleasing and he won't load to come home, or requires the help of, I think of Bob Newhart, Larry, Darrell, and Darrell to come on and help you get him loaded. And that's not always a good experience for him, and it is only going to make it worse the next time, even if you get away with it that time. So you want to do that in advance. If you don't have a trailer, maybe someone would lend you one, or if you're at a boarding facility, let you use a trailer that stays there to where they know how to get on. So what I like to do is to get them out here and put them on a little bit of a circle. And I'm not going to crowd them close to the trailer, because in a way right now the trailer's just part of the scenery. But I'm going to start doing this. She is very aware that that feed's over there, so that would be a good thing. And I'm going to relax a little as I get there. So I'm going to drive, 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 relax a little. She says, no pressure there. And what she does, it's almost encouraging bad behavior. She starts to leak out toward the trailer because there's a good thing over there, and everywhere else there's a bit of pressure. Drive, drive, no drive. What do you think? You want to go over there? You're thinking about it. Drive, 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 drive. No pressure. And that's the first she's had her feet on the ramp. She's a pretty confident young horse, which I like. Some horses take a long time. Sometimes it's a 1 foot at a time situation. And your goal is to get one front foot, then you go back to work. Second front foot, go back to work. Gradually, you'll get all 4 feet on. Gradually, you'll move the bait, the bribe, or if you like a better description, the positive reinforcement up here, to where they have to go deeper up onto the ramp and eventually into the trailer. So the milestones are 1 front foot on, both front feet on, hind foot or feet on, and then most important, head on the trailer, into the trailer. Once the horse gets their head inside the trailer, you probably have overcome a lot of the fear. So what I'm doing is getting rid of the fear first, and then building in some discipline and some training so that they'll go on when I ask them to. So I use those half-size buckets that you see in there. If the horse would spill them or step in them, they just don't make as big a rattle and bang and don't affect their movement as much. There you go. Now I'm going to relax. See if she wants to go up there. And she's got part of her head in the trailer. Now what I'm going to do is refill that bucket. I only put a very small amount in. Now what you want to do, and this is another button that I should have mentioned, you want to have your horse to where they back up reliably. If they don't, then getting off the trailer is going to be more difficult, more confusing, and more stressful. So I'm getting her just a little bit of extra grain here. And I just keep that out of the way where it's not a factor. And I'm going to advance this a little bit into the trailer to where she starts to put her head in. Now, how long does this take? Well, it takes as long as it takes. And I feel pretty certain that I could probably lead this filly in the trailer right now. But I want to have her completely ready and willing to go on. I want her to want to go on and to be comfortable with going on, and to do it not just from good nature or good luck, but from good training. So I'm a little bit out of the way here, off to this side. That's fine. I'm going to relax. There you go. She's getting her snack. And you don't want to have too much feed, and you don't want to let them eat too much, because this isn't intended to be a smorgasbord. So importantly, I'm going to back her away, not turn her and lead her away. I'm going to back her away. And I'm going to try to back her straight, which wasn't perfect. But you want to back them at least a horse length beyond the end of the ramp, or the step off if it's a step up trailer, because nothing needs to be different with a step up. I'm going to put this in a little bit further. And see, she's just sort of ready. But I want to keep the process intact and not just rely on that goodwill that I've built so far. So far, she's thinking this is just another place to get a meal. So I'm going to drive her around as I've been doing. Give her a little bit of stress, no stress. A little bit of stress, no stress. See her looking there? And at any other time, that would be bad. She's looking out of the circle. You wouldn't want to build that on, but it tends to go away. It tends to be sort of site specific. So let's see if we can just keep walking, heads in, front legs are in the trailer. Now, you're beginning to enter the zone where you have to consider whether you want to continue driving her on or start leading her on. I don't like to lead them at first because it tends to turn into a dragging contest. However, later on, it becomes harder to back them out. So I'm going to make an executive decision. Now you wait there. Wait. I don't need you. Wait. I'm going to put this in a little further, and that'll probably be as far as I drive her, because I don't want to get into an awkward position backing her out when her body's in the trailer and I'm not. So just for fun, I'm going to move her out here quite a little bit further, because I want that trailer to be a real target. I don't want this to be happening by accident. I want her to focus on that, like that, wherever I may be. A little leak built in. Now this time, I'm going to drive, and relax. Bad timing on my part. But she didn't know that, and that's fine. For all she knew, I just wanted to stop her there, which is effectively what I did. There you go. There you go. That was a little harder, wasn't it? I could have been a little smoother, maybe a lot smoother. So you can see it's a little harder to back them out if they would kind of lock up. So I'm just going to reach up here and ask her to step back. And I'm going to reload my gun. And again, I do that just so they don't spill it and then it's all over the place. It's a target in multiple places and they may pick the easiest one. This way, if they spill it, you can let them eat it and you're done. You just refill it and move it further in. So I'm going to ask her to wait for me, if she will. She's pretty anxious to come on. I'm going to put this a bit deeper than it has been. I'm going to pick up my stick in case I need it. And I'm going to start from a little bit more of a distance rather than just start right there at the gate. And see if we can walk up here together. Give me some room there, Bunny. There you go. It's a little different feel. And what I like is she pretty much has all four legs in the trailer. And I'm just going to move that a little bit further in, see if I can bring her the rest of the way. Now, you can see that if I was to have done this by driving her, it would have been more awkward to back her off. And if she got confused, you're just in a disadvantageous position for both of you. From here, I can help her back off the whole way down the ramp. She wants to flare out there a little, so I'm going to back her till I get her straight. So we're going to take a very short break and move the camera so we can show the interior of the trailer, and then we'll continue. On our camera so we can see the interior of the trailer. I'm going to lead her the whole way to the front. And again, you could drive her the whole way in, but these slant load trailers put you at a little bit of the disadvantage compared to, say, a 2-horse straight load. So she went this far. I'm simply going to move this up toward the front of the trailer. She's having a look around. I would absolutely encourage that. This is all new. She's interested in her surroundings. And she gets a bit of the snack and a reward up here. Now, tied in the front of the tie stall is another bucket that I've mounted there with a little bit of feed in it. So I'm going to back her off, and I'm going to be aware that she may bump her hip a little, and I don't want that to trouble her. I'm going to keep her going. I'm aware that she has a little tendency to flare, and that's a little bit of a weak spot in my prep. She could have had more backup on her, but she's being a good girl. So I'm just going to take her up in there. Now, it is not my goal, nor was it originally my goal, to shut the partition on her or to haul her anywhere today. That I will do, though, before I consider her to be safe to load and to start hauling. But for now, I want to get her on and the whole way up to the front of the trailer and comfortable there. And as you can see, if anything, she's a little bit bargy about it. And I'm going to let her take her time and let her find that feed up there. Now, people may feel different ways about using a food reward. I will tell you that this is temporary, but I'd be very interested in comments as to whether or not you think that's appropriate or whether you think it sets a bad precedent. I have found over the years that if you want to give them that positive reinforcement, it's helpful, but you can't come to rely on it, and you can't just bait them into the trailer. The trailer has to be a reward for doing what you've asked, not the sole reason why they're doing it. So that was pretty good. Now I'm gonna drop that because I don't want to have to be using a stick on her. And I'm gonna see if we can just walk up and go the whole way to the front of the trailer. And there was a little startle there. There are sounds in this trailer that are unaccountable to the horse. If I rattled this partition, she's going to be pretty aware that there's something. She stops eating. She says, I'm not really scared, but I'm pretty curious about what the heck's going on. And that's why I'm not going to expect her to be jammed in. Trailers make noise. They're tight. Horses are by nature claustrophobic and tend to panic a little in tight spaces. So I'm going to let her get comfortable with being in here and going in here before I confine her in here. Plus, if anybody remembers phone booths, getting yourself into a storm with a horse in the trailer is a little bit like being shut in a phone booth with a gorilla. You just don't want it to happen. So I want this to remain really low key. I never want to be in a trailer with a panicky horse. And I never want a horse to panic in a trailer whether I'm in there or not. When the time does come to haul her, we'll haul her initially right around here and unload and reload her here. Because there are times when your horse will load well, but they'll be a little rattled by the hauling experience, and when you go to reload them, they may be hesitant. I'd rather do that at home than haul them somewhere the first ride. The other thing I'll do when I haul a horse the first time, I'll get a quiet buddy horse to be their coach, go in there so they're not shut in, moving and alone all at the same time. So those are some thoughts about trailer loading. I will probably give her probably 3 or 4 more sessions, and then I'll feel like, okay, if I have to haul her, I can, and I won't repetitively work on this, but I'll set the foundation so that when I want to take her somewhere, I put her through even the morning of a trip, a little refresher, we load up and we go. Better than trying to put it all on them the day of. The whole background that this filly has in moving off pressure, going around, steering from the ground, backing up, make this process work the way it did. So that is my contribution to the vast array of videos on trailer loading. I hope you found it useful. I'll be interested if you let me know how you think about it. Thank you.